Thank you for taking this moment to breathe and to listen to what can change your life forever. My name is Ragnar Zinikas, and I'm the founder of Starpreneur TV, How to Dominate the Decade talk show, World Women Conference and Awards, the creator of Coral Desk, the coach of the change makers, and the co-author of the book From Zero to Success. My mission is to empower through education, and thank you very much for joining us today. Today, I have the honor to talk with Daniel Gómez. He's an award-winning motivational keynote speaker, corporate trainer, and confidence architect that strengthens the health of organizations by developing its people. Welcome, Daniel.
Ragnar, thank you so much.
Can you tell us who you are? Can you tell us your story?
Yeah, well, Daniel Gómez is just somebody who loves to have fun. And I think when you learn to have fun in business, in life, in every aspect, things happen a lot easier. And I say that because I'll never forget when I first started really in sales career. It's just when you take things too serious, when you're tensed up, customers and prospects can sense that. And I learned real quick just to have fun. And one thing that you don't realize is humor is the best just defense against customers being so serious. And I learned with humor, life is a lot easier. So 25 years ago, I just learned to have fun. But along the way, I learned to value people. And I love what I do. I'm a motivational keynote speaker. I speak all over the world. And in my corporate trainings, I do confidence coaching. I do a lot of business strategy. And it just helping people to really see that through confidence you can win. Because the truth is this, Ragnar, is I've never known anyone to win in life and in business without confidence. And I want you to think about an athlete. Once an athlete, think about Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods lost his confidence about a decade ago, he never won. But it took him a long time to get his confidence back. And with confidence, he started winning again. And that's the truth for life and business. You're not going to win without confidence. And most people don't realize that because people will feed off of your confidence if they lack confidence, Ragnar.
I couldn't be agreeing with you more. So if we talk about confidence, if we talk about motivation, so now I want to know, what is your passion and purpose in life?
My passion and purpose is to really instill that confidence in people's lives and their business, to elevate it to its true potential. Because right now, most people's lives, most people's businesses are only probably operating at about a 70% just true potential right now. And I say that because as I speak and I coach, I just had a conference that I spoke at for a corporate business brought me in over here in Houston. And it amazes me that even just managers, leadership undervalue themselves. They have a low self-worth. And when you have a low self-worth, it doesn't give you that confidence that you need to take it to the next level, because all you do is you get to that place of complacency in business, in leadership, and then you stop leading and you stop going the extra mile. And you ask me, well, how do I know this? Because you know about a person, and this might offend some people, but I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be honest. I'm 46 years old and I'm probably in one of the best shapes of my life. But if you can't even take care of your physical body, if you can't wake up and eat healthy, invest in your fitness, invest in who you are, then how can you really invest in your business and the fact of to take care of your employees and the people that you serve? So I go in there and I really open people's eyes to say, hey, why are you only giving half effort? Because when you give half effort, you're not going to get the results that you deserve. And the reason is because they undervalue who they are and they don't have the confidence to truly believe that they can see that and that they deserve it for themselves.
Agree. Part-time effort results, part-time results. No, so yeah, that's very true. So, I'm curious now, how do you distinguish yourself personally and also professionally?
Well, this is it. I found out very young because when I used to run multi-million-dollar corporations, people say, well, what qualifies you, Daniel? What qualifies you? Well, I've been through a lot in life. You know, I grew up here in San Antonio, Texas, and nothing came to me. Nothing was given to me. I've worked for everything I've had. And by the grace of God, I'm who I am. My mom passed away when I was 10 years old. My dad passed away when I was 26 years old. And I've lost 3 brothers that have passed away. And most people at that time would have given up Most people at that time wouldn't have just, they would have played the victim mentality and felt sorry for themselves. I'm not saying that I didn't get depressed, but I learned from those seasons in my life. And you can't, it doesn't matter what type of leader or what type of business owner you are. If you don't have the character, if you don't have the capacity for your own life, how can you go and instill that in the people that you serve in an organization? So I say that because going through those life's trials and overcoming them and not giving up in my own personal life, I'm able to go into this organization and lead them. This was an organization that was losing, Rodney. So what qualifies me in business? I took over an organization that was losing $1 million in the red every year. $1 million, real money. And within, they said, Daniel, you're crazy. You're never going to turn this place around. And within 1 year and 2 months, it was a $2 million swing that we did from a negative million to a positive in the black million. And it's all because of who the leader is. And I'm not saying it was all me. No, this is what I'm saying is that the problem is most leaders think it's all them. It's not. It takes a team to win. It takes a team to go and build a championship team to conquer the mountains. And that's what it takes, is to bring out the best and instill the confidence in the people that you serve every single day.
Just the other day, I was listening to one interview with Jim Donald, which was the Starbucks ex-CEO. And actually, he said the exact same words, that it's not about you, but it's all on you. So remember that. So it's great that you bring it up, and I think it's really, really important in that sense as well. Let's talk about this confidence architect. What do you really need? What do you really do? Like, I'm asking, like, do I need one? Like, do I need someone who can teach me? So what is confidence?
Yes, you need it. Everybody needs confidence. Like I said, you need confidence to win. So what's a confidence architect? So think about architecture. You actually build the structure, you build a building, you build a high rise. But this is the thing. Most people try to build over the junk they have within their lives. Let me say it again. Most people try to build over the junk, over the problems, over the situations that don't serve them, the mindset that doesn't serve them. They try to put it this way. I'll give you this analogy. If we're investors, I know you like real estate. So if we buy this house and we go and we know this house has a mold problem, and there's mold all over the place inside this house, on the walls, whatever. And we go and we say, well, Rodney, let's just paint it. So we go and we paint this entire house, fresh paint with we cover the mold temporarily, but the mold is going to seep through. And that's exactly what most people try to do, is they try to patch their problems, cover their problems through a false sense of self-confidence. And most people who think they're confident, they actually have a false self-confidence. Because I see it every time in executives, I see it in vice presidents and owners of organizations. And what you got to do as an architect, you tear down. You got to tear down, and you got to go to you have to build at the foundation. And that's where most people fail, because they build on a foundation that's built on sand. They build on a foundation that's not a level foundation. And then they can barely handle what they have, a 1-story, 2-story building, much less they try to start building a skyscraper. It's going to fall after a while because they don't have the foundation. So when I go in there, I just tear down those beliefs. I tear down that unforgiveness, the strife, just things that don't serve them. And half the time, they don't even realize it, because 95% of a person's life is lived on autopilot. What do I mean by autopilot? Subconsciously, it's your rituals and your habits that you do every single day. You want to know a person's life in 5 years? What are their habits? The sad part is most of us ain't aware of the rituals and habits that we do daily. So I go in there, I tear down the building, I tear down the structure, I tear down the mindset, I tear down those agreements that don't serve them. And one of the biggest lies we've been told is this, Rodney: think outside the box, right? Well, who said there's a freaking box to begin with? Who said there's a box? Who said that? There's no box. But little agreements that we made with that, they're dumb and they do not serve you. So we go and then we build with you with confidence, with the belief to say that, hey, first of all, you deserve to win. Second of all, you're good enough. And third of all, that when you apply everything that we go over, because this is what we don't realize, is we're the bottleneck for the growth in our lives and our business. So that's what our confidence architect tests. It tears down those beliefs, those agreements, that mindset, that unforgiveness, that strife, and we build you back up with the foundation to be able to have the character, the integrity, because without integrity, you'd be surprised how many businesses I go to, Rodney, and they don't even keep their books 100%. I said, this is all the money you make? Well, we do get, well, why don't you report it? Whatever you don't report, you're only cheating yourself, because those are seeds of how can I say it? Those are seeds of corruption. And if you sow seeds of corruption, the only thing you're corrupting is your own business.
If you could give an advice to someone that is just in the beginning of their journey becoming an entrepreneur, and they really want to be successful, and they want to do it right, and they're looking the secret sauce of this like bullet points, as they say, what would you say to a person who doesn't have those beliefs still, and they are sort of still curious, and they want to do they think that they can change the world just by starting? So what do you recommend them to keep in mind, which would really help them to build a sustainable and successful business?
Well, one thing that you got to do is you just got to take action. I think you just got to move forward. For instance, a good example of that is myself. I started my podcast here this past month, and is everything worked out to the T? No, but you got to start somewhere. And you don't have to be great to start, but you do got to start to be great. And most people don't realize that they want everything to be perfect, and then they ask advice. So the first thing I would tell these people is never take advice from people that haven't accomplished what you want to accomplish. That's the first thing. Seek wise counsel, right? Seek wisdom, seek it from maybe one or two people that you trust, that are where you want to go, and then just focus on the things that they tell you. And I say that because too many times we listen to too many people, and we put them in our head, and then we're trying to make people happy instead of doing what we really love. I just had a client of mine that I said, well, why are you doing this? They said, well, I just kind of talked to so-and-so about it, and they're doing something they don't even like. So the first thing is seek wise counsel in where you want to go, your track. And then second, you just got to be patient. You can't expect to be an overnight success. And then what I say that, I love what my great friend Alex Stern says, right? Constant Contact, they became a $1 billion company that they sold overnight, over 18 years. So one thing that you know, that once, like I was talking about the foundation, the main thing is to build that foundation that you can build on, and just know within time, if you take the smallest action steps every single day towards what you want to do, then you're going to succeed. And I would say this to that young entrepreneur: you have to be consistent at least for 6 months to a year before people are going to really start noticing who you are. Because that's what happened to me on LinkedIn. No one would engage on my profile. No one would really, just as a business owner. But once I was around for a year, man, everybody was reaching out to me, because there's so many businesses, so many entrepreneurs that start and they never started. They quit within the first 2 or 3 months. And people would look at that stuff. People would take notice of that. So, well, first of all, seek godly wisdom, seek wisdom. Second of all, just start where you're at. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then third, just know that as you build that foundation, that in the consistency, that's where your success is going to come, because it's not going to happen within 1 month. I look back and I think of all the things that I've accomplished. And when I was like impatient in my first year, I said, man, I can do this. I'm ready to take on the world. And I didn't even know half the stuff, 1/3 of the stuff that I know now. And then the universe has a way of giving you the people, the talent, the skills that you need once you prove yourself. Because there's a saying that I love from St. Francis of Assisi that says this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So once you're ready for that next level to promote your business, everything will fall in place for you, Ragni.
So I really hope whoever you are watching, I see that we have people from Estonia, UK, and Mexico. Please write down those things. Really, really, you will benefit from them. You mentioned Alex and the 18 years, and I think this is one of the things which we also, when we have achieved some type of success in our businesses, we sort of start to use that and live on that. And I think even harder than to become successful is actually to stay successful and have it long-term success, in a sense that we have so many examples like Nokia, Ericsson, all those titans which everybody thought that they will never fall, and yet
They're following.
as quickly as the success comes, you can be on your knees and you are out of the picture. What do you think? What for the sustainable part of the company or any even if it's a small business, what would be the pillars that you should really, we were talking about the foundations, so let's now talk about the pillars which will also carry it through the years.
Well, you know what, I love that comment you made, because you know what kills those titans? Ego and pride. Your ego and your pride are going to bring you down quicker than anything else. As quick as you rise up, if you don't deal with your ego and check that and your pride, you're not going to be sustainable. And my answer to you, I'm going to tell you a little story. Think back when everybody knows about the New England Patriots. Everybody knows about Tom Brady. But what they don't realize is that New England was pretty good before Tom Brady came around. And the reason I bring up this team is because they had a pretty good quarterback named Bledsoe. And Bledsoe got him to the Super Bowl. So many companies, many small businesses, they have enough talent to get to a certain level of success, but then they don't have the exact talent and mindset to push through and get that, to score that big win. And even though Belichick, they didn't want to put in, they didn't want to put in Brady, Bledsoe, he just couldn't get it done. And then by fate, they ended up putting Brady in the game. And next thing you know, Brady takes him not to 1 Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl, 3 Super Bowls. So think about that. So many times we settle for good talent as an owner of a business or as a leader of an organization. We tolerate that because maybe we got comfortable with that VP. Maybe we got comfortable with that general manager. Or maybe we got comfortable with ourselves because we reached that level of success where, yeah, you know what? I'm living okay. I'm making enough money I'm comfortable. And nothing kills your dreams more than being comfortable. So I would really analyze and assess your business, assess the people that are around you and say, okay, well, who got me this far? Who got me to the Super Bowl? But I don't want, think about it. Nobody just wants to go to the Super Bowl, Ragnar. They want to win the damn Super Bowl. So who's going to have me win the Super Bowl? And you need a Tom Brady. You need a Tom Brady that's 40 years old, still going, still fighting. He has more passion than a lot of people coming out of college that have never even experienced that. That's what you need. You want to surround yourself with people that never get complacent, because once complacency sets in, then it's over. Then you start regressing instead of progressing. And once you start regressing, that's when you die. And that's when you see the JCPenney's going bankrupt. That's when you see all these Kmart's closing, because they stop being innovative. And I would say this, to answer that second part of your question, is you have to always be growing. You always have to be learning, and you always have to be innovative in what you're doing for your business. Because if you're not, the businesses that are struggling right now are the ones that didn't adapt to Zoom, the ones that didn't want to do the video conferencing, the ones that didn't have a different product to, because for myself, I lost 10 speaking engagements. It was a lot of money. But usually when that happens, people feel sorry for themselves and they pivot with that same old mindset. And even if you pivot with the wrong thinking, you're still going to fail.
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's very popular now, and especially in the under the circumstances, as we say, is that as we know that there's some excuses which are so acceptable by the society, then it's so easy to fall into that trap and say, what can I do? Like, yeah. So we just, and there's people obviously which smell it that the comfort zone and all of that is too close, so you need to move. But let's talk about the entrepreneurship a little more. What do you see? What are the biggest challenges that the entrepreneurs have? It doesn't matter in which level they are, whether they're entry already going strong or exiting the market. Obviously, if they're exiting, then they're having bigger challenges than they can handle. No.
Yes, well, that's a great question. Do you know why? Do you know why most entrepreneurs fail? I know. I already have the answer. That's an easy answer. It's because they never invest in themselves. They leave a 9 to 5 job. They leave that 9 to 5 job as an employee, and then they start their entrepreneurship journey. They start that business, but they open up a business. They open up whatever they're going to do, but they still think like an employee. And you cannot think like an employee and have a successful business. It's not going to happen. And one of the main things that I teach when I go into these small businesses is that they see everything as a cost. No, it's not a cost. It's actually an investment in yourself. A good example of that is I just invested thousands into my new podcast, to my new show. It took money to get it there. But most people say, oh, I can't afford it, or what's the cheapest one? No, cheaper is not always better. That's an employee mindset. So if there's one thing that I feel that destroys businesses even before they start, is that they never leave that employee mindset, and they see themselves as an employee. They see everything as a cost, and they try to run their business as an employee. And that's where most entrepreneurs fail, Rodney.
And what would be your advice how we can actually dominate our markets as entrepreneurs? What are the skill set, mindset, whatever sets we need for success?
What the main thing is this is you have to see it within yourself. You have to believe in it. And even if you can't believe it, you just got to continue moving forward. You got to just charge forward. And I say charge because when you charge forward, you don't care. You got to be bold. And the moment you ignite that boldness in you, the moment you ignite that boldness in yourself, then nothing can stop you, because nothing can stop, right? Nothing can stop the power of a made-up mind. The power of a made-up mind is going to find a way to do it. They're going to find a solution because you become solution-minded. But most people focus on the problem instead of being solution-minded. So I would tell anybody who wants to dominate, you have to become solution-minded, because problems give you the competency. They give you the opportunity to reveal your competency. They give you the opportunity to reveal your intelligence. But most people see a problem as a stumbling block. And no, a problem shows, put it this way, a problem can show you off. Think about that. A problem can show you off. And what do I mean by that? Many decades ago, this little phone was tied to the wall, and somebody saw it as a problem. They said, we need to make this wireless. So they made it wireless. Then somebody said, well, I just don't want to talk on a phone in my house. I need to take this wherever I go. And that person that created that cell phone is a multimillionaire over and over. Why? Because there was a problem to them and they solved it. So the moment you become a great problem solver, the moment is when your business is going to flourish, Rodney.
Couldn't agree more. Let's talk about your coaching program. What do you coach? Where do you concentrate? We heard little bits here and there, but I want to be very clear in a sense that people understand why they should come to you.
Well, they need to come to me because I can help them. First of all, I love people. I can help them. And I don't say that arrogantly, but I can help them. I love people. I love people. And people don't realize this. Is I just talked to this one of my clients. We were talking about this, and this is what a lot of people do is they read a book and they think that a book's going to solve their problems. And a book is going to help you to a certain point, but a book is not going to point out your blind spots. And one thing that I have is I'm very attentive. I'm a very good listener. And when we're communicating, when you're talking to me, I pick up on every single word you say, and boom, that's your block, or boom, that's a problem. And many people can't hear themselves talk because they're just talking out of rituals. They're just talking out of habit. And the moment we get one-on-one, we're going to figure out what is it that's keeping you from truly being successful. Because a lot of times it's not the fact that they don't have what they need to be successful. They just don't realize it within themselves that they already have it, Ragni. They just don't realize that. So a good example of that is that one of my past clients, she was making $40,000 a year. And she had this belief system that that was a lot of money. And we worked through that. And within a year's time, we just, it's called cognitive reconstructing. We reconstructed, right? The architect, we tore down, we rebuilt that cognitive structure in her mindset. And in 1 year, she went from making 40 to over $100,000 in 1 year. And now she's ecstatic. Her business is growing. She got out of her house. She has an office and she's just flourishing. So I go in there and I show you process, procedures. And the main thing that I can help people is, it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's real estate, automotive, whether you sell pancakes or you sell makeup. If you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to ask for the business, you're never going to succeed. And most people don't know how to ask for sales. They don't know how to ask for the business. They don't even follow up. They don't even know what a sales process is. So when it comes to business, I make sure and I analyze, well, why ain't we doing this? Well, I never knew that. Well, you need it. And that's what really helped me is the fact that I have a real strong suit. I have a real strong just sales prospect, sales follow-up, sales everything. Because if anything without sales it's not going to survive. I don't care who it is.
You just published a book. What is this book about?
Well, it's right here. It's called Sticker Shock, and it's an amazing book. It's actually on sale. It's on sales, and it's called The Day You Realize You're Worth Millions. So one thing that I coach on is self-worth, because most people, they don't get the business that they need because they don't have a high self-worth. They have a low self-esteem. And the moment you raise your self-worth, the moment you realize that you're worth millions is the moment you take action and you start doing the things you need to do to be successful in your life and in your business, Ragni. And that's why I'm so happy about this book, because it's available on Amazon and it's a bestseller. I'm so excited because it's really helping people. It doesn't matter what sales industry you're in, whether you're in whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to give you success principles in sales that's going to help you and say, wow, I promise you're going to take away 2 or 3 golden nuggets from the book that are going to revolutionize your process and business. And just really, because every day we're selling. I wouldn't be on your show if you didn't like me and my personality wasn't up to who you wanted me to be. So we don't realize that every day before anybody buys your product or your service, Rodney, they're buying you. They're buying you. So maybe your business isn't growing the way you want it to. And maybe it's because you are the product that's keeping them from doing business with you. So because of your lack of charisma, your lack of just first impressions, you're going to miss out on all that business that's there. It's in front of you. You just don't see it because maybe your pride's in the way. Maybe your ego's in the way. Maybe you're just focused on the bad instead of focusing on the good.
I really like the blind spots idea, and I think that's really something that a lot of people discard, or they even can't think of that. Like how exactly they are blind spots. That's why.
Yes.
So
what think about this? Like it's no matter what country you are, what kind of car you drive, every car has a blind spot. Why is that? Well, because it's made by human beings that have blind spots. And just the way those cars have blind spots, and you usually need a co-passenger to help you see around the corner or those blind spots as you're pulling out or turning in, you can't see everything. And just the ego and the pride's going to keep you from asking for help. And that's when those Nokias fall. That's when the businesses that think I'm untouchable. No, it's not true. You got to be innovative. If not, you're going to be that next blockbuster that's going to be taken by blindside because you got a little guy like Netflix, which is going to take over. And because you underestimate the desire and the passion they have in their heart, you got to have it. Because if you think you know everything, then you end up in a cemetery like those blockbusters.
So let's talk about future. What do you think what the future will bring all the industry for speakers, coaches, authors, and what the future will bring to Daniel?
Wow, man. Well, I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity for speakers. I love to speak. I love coaching, but I love to speak just because I love to just really get a group of 1,000 people and just boom, right? Get them energized. And I just spoke last week in Houston, and there was like 120 employees there. It was an awesome for a corporation. And just the fact when people come up to you and when people tell you, man, you changed my life today, it's like, I want to buy a book. And you don't need, I don't like, I kind of talk about it, but when people do that to you and they ask you what your course is about, it's because I speak from the heart. And I think as we start this new journey, as we're leaving this first season of this first quarter of 2020, it's like you really have to ask yourself, is my product, my service, am I really coming from a place of my heart? Because right now, and I'm saying this, I'm going to quote it, there's going to be a big hangover in our country, in America, in Mexico, in the world, because people are going to still have fear, and they're going to have doubt, and they're going to feel hopeless. And those three things cannot be cured by somebody who's flaky. If you're just doing it from a point of profitability, you're not going to succeed as a speaker. And I can tell you the reason I succeed is because I speak from my heart, because I know that people have that hopelessness, that fear, that doubt, and they can connect with you. And right now, I think speakers need to really connect with their own heart and deal with their own issues, because if you don't, you're not going to make it in the long run coming out into this season. And I'm excited because I think with the virtual platforms opening up, I think it's great. I don't really care for it myself. I prefer speaking in person, but it's good to know that you have both options available, because I think there'll be more virtual ones. I think there's overkill right now, to be honest with you. There's summit after summit after summit, and it's like I get zoomed out already. It's like, no, it's like it's not healthy at either. So I think the benefit is that we're going to have live events, and that we're also going to have virtual events, and they're going to complement each other. So myself, say I'm flying to California or I'm flying to Mexico, maybe there's another opportunity that I passed up on, but I'll be able to speak there now because it's a virtual event. So I can fly to California, do my live event, and then I can do a virtual one too. So I think there's definitely going to be more speaking opportunities that are going to open up for everybody else in the near future.
So thank you everybody who have joined the call here in Zoom, and everybody who you are watching in YouTube. No, not YouTube yet. The video is going to be uploaded in YouTube at the Coral Desk profile, but everybody that you're looking under Coral Desk or Ragnes Inika's profile in Facebook Live. So if you have any questions or recommendations, or you want to share something with us, please leave the comment or question under the video. I see immediately the questions which are coming in under the profile of Ragnes Inikas. If not, and you are watching from Coral Desk, then all the questions will be answered anyways. Don't worry, after the session, we go in and we will answer the questions. I already have some very good comments here. I will read them as soon as Daniel gives us his 3 recommendations how to dominate the decade.
How to dominate the decade. First of all, you got to wake up every morning and tell yourself that I am dominating. You got to believe that you're going to dominate. You got to believe it in your mind that you're going to dominate. And the only way you're going to believe that is by looking in the mirror and telling yourself that every single morning, every single day, that I am going to dominate. And then the second thing that you're going to do is you're going to really self-assess yourself every single week, every single month. You need to be self-assessing who you are. Because if you don't self-assess who you are, if you don't self-assess yourself through a coach, right? That's the second thing. Then you're not going to succeed. My goal this year, by the end of the year, I will be a multimillionaire. I'm declaring that. And I hired $1 million coach, because you need to make that investment in yourself. So I would say the way you're going to dominate is you're going to surround yourself, and you're going to hire a coach to take you to that next level, because by yourself, you can't do it. And then third, you're going to collaborate with people like Rodney that are amazing, because right now what you need to really dominate is you need exposure. And the only way you're going to get exposure, there's no way you're going to get exposure just on your platform by yourself. It's not going to happen. And the moment you get that ego, that pride, that selfishness out of your heart, and you start opening your heart to collaborating with amazing people like Rodney and other people around you, then that's when everything's going to change. Because first of all, you got to believe it. You got to tell yourself that. You got to continue to self-assess who you are, hire a coach. And third, there's power. There's so much power, Rodney, in collaboration that it's not even funny, that we need it nowadays.
I agree totally. So let's see, there was some questions coming in first here. So, hello from Estonia, 100% truth. Action make you professional. 6 months, that's good point. How important is to surround yourself by people alike, people driven by the same intention and energy to achieve their goals. So, as well, from UK, agreed. Be a solution-minded, not a problem-minded. And there's a question: your energy is contagious. Seems like you are always super busy. How do you balance it with your family?
You prioritize. For me, I always prioritize. This is what I do. Always God first, always my wife second, always my family, my children third, and then my business. That's just the way it is. So I've learned to set the standards for the life that I want. So you balance it by prioritizing and the standards that you set for yourself. If you want a high level of life, you got to set high standards. So for me, I'm usually in bed by 10 o'clock. I'm asleep. No questions asked. I'm asleep because I know the next day I have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have my routine where I spend my time with God, then I spend my time on myself, and then that's when I get my morning going. So I balance it is when something comes in and it's going to affect time with my family, I'll pass on the opportunity, because this is the key that most people fail. When you master something, you have the power to walk away from it. And I am still learning. So I'm going to humble myself. I'm still learning, but when you learn to walk away from money for the right reasons, because I have an appointment or a dinner with my wife, then I truly believe that God blesses me back 100-fold with a different opportunity down the road. Because I just had this happen to me 2 weeks ago. I went and spoke in up here in Wimberley for this corporation, and they wanted me to do it on a Saturday, but it was my grandson's birthday. And I was eager, I was excited. I was like, and I said, oh crap, it's I can't do that date. And I told the lady, I said, look, and she was surprised. I said, maybe you might have to find another speaker. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I just realized it's my grandson's birthday. He turned 1. I'm not going to miss it. I don't care how much you pay me. She goes, really? She goes, I don't know if we can move it. I said, look, if you can, great. If not, I'll pass. She called me back. She goes, how does Sunday morning at 10 o'clock sound? Great. So when you make those hard decisions like that, God and the universe will reward you in the long time, in the long run. And you have to learn how to have that understanding about yourself that, hey, you have to know by faith that when I make these critical decisions, that everything else is going to work out. Because never sacrifice. What good does it do? I know so many people that have so much money, but they're not happy and they're not wealthy, because the wealth that they lack is the wealth of their spiritual God, and then the wealth of their family, which they lost in trying to get that monetary gain.
There is a good saying that stop managing your time and start managing your focus. I think it's so spot on that once it really hits you and you really understand what that means, I think that's a game changer, at least from my point of view. Let's see some questions here. What are your 3 top items on your bucket list?
The 3 top items on my bucket list. Okay, I want to jump out of an airplane. I want a parachute, and I hope to do that. My goal is to do that by the end of the year. I want to jump out of a plane and parachute, because I talk about that in my book, You Were Born to Fly. We've talked about that before. So we're supposed to do it here before the end of the year. And I'm excited about that. And then another thing that I want to do is that my goal is to speak to a live audience of 10,000 people. That's another thing on my bucket list. And then the last thing is that I really just want to, my goal is this, and I'm not just saying this. My goal is to really, I want to feed millions of homeless and needy people. And the moment that I really reach that million, and whether it's through donating money to a church or donating to just homeless ministries, Sam's Ministries here, is I really want to impact the lives of 1 million homeless people. So that's on my bucket list.
And I need to send my son with you, because in the end of the year we went to San Diego, and obviously haven't seen homeless people before, and he gave up all his his Christmas presents. He just wanted to go to Target, buy sleeping bags. We bought the sleeping bags, and we went and gave them out from homeless. So he would be very good.
Yes, yes.
Helper for you. So how do you handle stress?
So I do that. There's two things I do for stress. Like I mentioned, I wake up every single morning. So I like to read a scripture or read something that's just spiritual, and then I just meditate, and that clears me of all that worry, that doubt, that fear. That's one of the big things that I do. I spend time with my Creator, with God, and then I exercise. Out of the 7 days a week, I would say I work out probably 4 times every single week. If I can do 5, I do it. But I will tell you, the days that I do some form of exercise, even if it's just a 20-minute workout, I feel so much better because you relieve that stress, you relieve that tension. And maybe you're saying, well, Daniel, I don't work out. Well, everybody watching, Ragne, can walk. And just by power walking, I'll tell you, it makes a big difference. Because there was a point where my knee was hurting me for a while. And all I could do was walk. And that made a big difference just in getting that energy, that momentum. When you really walk at a fast pace, believe me, you burn some calories.
Yes. And what are you most grateful for?
My wife being alive. I think when I almost lost my wife, it crushed me because it didn't matter that all the financial success I've had in my life, it showed me that money can't save you. And the moment you realize that money can't save you, and that the only thing that can really help you, the only solution to life's problems is God, and that God can carry you and pull you through any situation. It's not going to be easy because there's a lot of junk that you got to get out of your own heart. And I didn't realize that I had a lot of junk in my heart, Ragne. And that allowed me to be more grateful for my wife and really see her for the beautiful person that she is.
Beautiful answer. So if someone wants to follow you, if someone wants to, we have one more question before I ask that. What is the toughest thing you have had to unlearn?
That's easy. That's it was actually really, really hard to just be quiet. There's a saying, and I just had this conversation with one of my clients yesterday. We were talking about this exact thing. He's in the New York area. So you can imagine in New York and Boston, it's like everybody's outspoken all the time. That's just their culture. And I don't say that in a bad way, but that's just the reality of it. So I said, this is your answer. He's like, what? Let your wisdom rest in your heart. Only a fool needs to be heard all the time, or wants to be heard all the time. Think about that. Let the wisdom that you have, let it rest in your heart. You know it. You don't always have to speak it, because only a fool needs to be heard all the time and wants to be heard all the time. Does that make sense?
I think it's really deep. I think that exactly, not always like this. They have another saying that talking is silver and silence is gold.
Yeah. And when I learned that just resting in that wisdom that I have, it's okay. But the fool always wants to be heard. Think about this. Think about when we go into a conference room, and usually there's that manager that always wants to be heard, that always wants to be spoken. He's usually the most insecure guy. He has the most insecurities. So to answer that question, for me, I just really had to just know that I don't always have to be right, and that being quiet is okay. And that I had to unlearn that, because growing up in the south side of San Antonio, you always had to like defend yourself and, portray this image, because it wasn't a bad side of town, but it's just like, you're always on the defense, because that's where I learned my street smarts. But it's okay to be quiet. I've learned that, and I love it now, because it's like, and then people get mad. When you rest in that wisdom, then they still poke at you, and it's like you don't respond to their text message, you don't respond to their comment. Well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't think anything. And I've had to learn that, and that was really a time of growth for me. So let me tell you.
So if someone wants to follow you, if someone wants to contact you, how can they do so?
Well, you can go to my website, danielgomezspeaker.com. That's danielgomezspeaker.com. And just go to the contact button and you can send me a message through there and you can see some of my, just what I do there. And then also you can email me at danielgomezspeaker.com. That's danielgomezspeaker.com. And then you can follow me on social media. My brand is here. It's my show to faith. And when you have faith in God, you have faith in yourself and you have faith to conquer all your fears. And my brand is Daniel Gómez Inspires. And you can follow me at Daniel Gómez Inspires on YouTube, Instagram, on Twitter, and then also on Facebook, of course. And Pinterest. I have a big following on Pinterest.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So Daniel, what would be the last message or the message that the people, whoever has joined us now and will afterwards watch the video, what do you want them to take from this?
The day you realize that all those agreements that you believe to be true are actually not even real. The moment you realize to open yourself to other people's points of view and you get out of your own perspective and you start seeing life, business from that other person's perspective, from other people's perspective, then you're really going to grow as a person and you're going to be more just joyful, more loving, more compassionate. Just the way Ragne said, nobody chooses to be homeless. Nobody in San Diego, nobody in the world chooses to be homeless. And the moment you stop judging people is the moment you're going to stop judging yourself and you're going to find true happiness within yourself. And you're going to remove all those layers of opinions that have been placed upon you that you take as truth, that's been giving you a blurred perspective of what reality is. Because the reality is there is no box. The reality is that there is no limitations to what you can accomplish. It's just that you've accepted all those lies as truth. And the moment you start really knowing what is true is the moment you start living life.
Beautiful message again. People, I really hope that you had your... If you didn't, go back to this video, take the notes, but most important, take action on them. Because I wrote down something which I think is very important. One, we talked about the blind spots, and I think that should be enough homework for you for the weekend to think what could be your blind spots, which are actually the obstacles for you to grow and to go to the next level. And the other thing, which I think, which was interesting, and I think a lot of us do not recognize that, that actually we have the fear of success. And it's very hard even to, I think, recognize it. But we do. And the best slogan for that is coming from Daniel's book, actually. The day you realize you are worth millions. I think this is those two things for some reasons. Maybe it's totally, that resonates with me. I don't know what you took out of it, but I think the fear of success. I have seen so many potential people, and they don't understand why they can't. Like they do and they do and they do, like they even talk right in a sense, but it's the mindset which is there. Right, talking is there, but there is no connection with, as also Daniel said today, with your heart. So when you do not do things with your heart, when you do not speak from your heart, then you will be stuck until you really realize that there needs to be the connection with your head and with your heart. So find out your blind spot, Go do the introspection, do the reflection time, go take the time, write down things. Start, if you do not journal yet, start to journal, because it's sort of speaking out loud, and it really, really helps. And I'm so grateful that you joined us today, Danielle, because obviously everything that you shared with us, your insights, it was one golden nugget after another. So I hope that everybody which was looking thinks the same as for me. It was very valuable. And for you that you're looking, today you can become the hero. How? You can become the hero of your life by taking action. So as I just described what you need to do it. Don't say that you're going to do it tomorrow. No, no. You go out from this goal and you start to write down. But you can also be the hero of someone else's life. How? By sharing this video. Because we never know who needs to hear that. We never know to whom this exact video can help changing their life. So become the hero of your life and someone else's life. I'm going to see you on Monday, the same time, the same place. And we're going to have incredible two young girls from abroad. If you want to know who they are, please check out our profiles. But we will bring some very young new leaders to the show, and to show where the curiosity, where the creativity can take you. And it's a good advice for you as well. Always be curious and never stop learning. So Daniel, thank you again. Thank you for all your support always. And I'm looking forward. I think that very soon we should arrange another call and see, once we're back in the game with the live events. I think we should even do one live transmission out of your events. What have you scheduled, by the way? I know that you actually have some live events already scheduled. What are they?
Yeah, July 24th and 25th. We're going to be here. Daniel Gómez Enterprises and Michael D. Butler would be on publishing. We're going to have the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, July 24th and 25th in San Antonio. So if you're an aspiring speaker, we're going to have photo ops. We're going to build an amazing stage to get you those $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 speaking engagements. We're going to have photo optics. You're going to get a professional speaker role with our crew. And then on October 10th, we're going to have 10-10-20, our women's conference here in San Antonio at the Norris Conference Center. So we got 10 amazing women speakers that are going to come in and just really speak for their heart. I think right now, as we come out of this COVID season, that a lot of women's hearts are going to be just needing healing and encouragement and hope. So it's going to be an amazing women's conference in 10-10-20. And proceeds from our women's conference go to help women impacted by breast cancer. So we have our nonprofit, the Mighty Strong Foundation, which my wife is a breast cancer survivor. So we give back to women that have been impacted and devastated by breast cancer, Ragni.
Beautiful course, beautiful structure for the event as well. I thank you, because as you know, as always empowering women, this is my passion as well, and I really admire everything that you do. So thank you for always supporting women and empowering them. So again, thank you, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. We are already on Friday. The weeks go so fast. So so thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Ragnar. I had a great time.